Hello my scholars, welcome to my school channel. My name is Alexandra. So right now in this channel, we'll be tackling the JAMB question for the subject Literature and English for 2014. Please do not go anywhere, stay with us, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to my school channel. So right now we will be tackling question 1 to 16. Now beginning with question 1, an action in a play that stimulates the audience to pity a character is option A, pyrrhic, option B, props, option C, pathos, option D, parody. The answer to this question is pathos. Pathos is a communication technique that is meant to appeal the audience emotion. Okay, it's meant to appeal the audience emotion, and emotions involve pity, fear, and all of that. So option C therefore is the correct answer to this question. However, pyrrhic is a type of metrical foot that consists of 2 unstressed syllables. Just like iambic is another popular type of metrical foot that consists of 1 unstressed syllable and another stressed syllable. But pyrrhic is a metrical foot that consists of 2 unstressed syllables. Props are objects used by actors on stage. Parody is simply an imitation for comic effect. So the answer to this question based on the definition is option C, pathos. Question 2. Purgation of emotion, pity and fear is option A, catharsis, option B, catastrophe, option C, epilogue, option D, exposition. The answer to this question is catharsis. Catharsis is the purgation or purification of emotion, usually that of pity and fear. So the answer to this question is option A, catharsis. When we talk about catastrophe, this simply means disaster. Epilogue is that writing or the speech at the end of a story or a book or a film. Exposition is under plot structure and is usually the first part. Okay, so we have exposition is also called introduction or introductory. So we have that, then we have the rising action, climax, falling action, and then denouement or resolution. So the answer to this question is option A, catharsis. Question 3, a device in drama where a character speaks alone is option A, soliloquy, option B, aside, option C, apostrophe, option D, dialogue. The answer to this question is soliloquy. Okay, soliloquy is a literary device where the speaker speaks to himself. So I want you to think of it as soliloquy, a speaker speaks to himself, but then aside, a speaker speaks to the audience. So I think that's easy for you to remember or memorize. Soliloquy, when a speaker speaks alone to himself, aside, when a speaker speaks to the audience. So the answer to this question is option A, soliloquy. But then apostrophe is a literary device in which we speak directly to a thing or an abstract idea as if the thing is physically present to us. Okay. Option D, dialogue. Dialogue simply means conversation. Okay, conversation between 2 or more people. So the answer to this question is option A, soliloquy. Question 4, a plot in a literary work is about option A, character delineation, option B, casual arrangement of events, option C, resolution of conflicts, option D, law of poetic justice. The answer to this question is option B, casual arrangement of events. And I think in this question, JAMB is trying to play with our minds to know if we actually understand the concept of plot. Plot is simply the arrangement of events. Whether it is casual or whether it's complex, it is just the arrangement of events, of actions, of the storyline of a book. Okay, so option B is the correct answer to this question. When we talk about character delineation, it has to do with how characters are portrayed in a book. Okay, it has to do with characterization. When we talk about resolution of conflict, this is under plot structure, and I mentioned that in previous question I said there are 5 structures or elements under plot structure. We have the exposition or introduction, we have the rising action, climax, and falling action, and the last is resolution or denouement. So resolution is just one element under the plot structure. Resolution does not define a plot as a whole. okay? It does not define plot as a whole. It's just one structure of a plot. So option D, law of poetic justice, it does not have anything to do with this at all. So the answer to this question, or the best answer to this question, is option B, casual arrangement of events. Question 5. Tone and mood of a poem refers to option A, local, option B, atmosphere, option C, setting, option D, space. The answer to this question is option B, atmosphere. When we talk about atmosphere in literature, we're talking about the general feeling we get when reading a particular text, literary text. Okay, so tone and mood has to do with feeling, okay? The feeling the writer is trying to portray, or the feeling we get as readers when we read the book. So option B is the correct answer to this question. When we talk about setting, setting is the time and place of a literary work. When we talk about local and space are not terms applicable in literature appreciation. So the answer to this question is option B, atmosphere. Do not forget that you can take practice questions with our simulated JAMB CBT past questions. All you need to do is you click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the Myschool website. There you can download Myschool mobile app for your Android phones and Myschool software for your computers and laptops. Please go ahead and download and start practicing this question. Now moving on to question 6. A funny incident within a serious situation is option A, comedy, option B, comic relief, option C, tragic comedy, option D, tragic hero. The answer to this question is option B, comic relief. So comic relief is the inclusion of a funny character or funny event in an otherwise serious work. Okay, so when an author decides to infuse or chip in a funny incident in a sad moment, okay, so that is comic relief. However, option A, comedy is a literary work that is characterized by funny events, funny characters, and all of that. Option C, tragic comedy blends two elements, both tragedy and comedy. That is, it can begin on a very sad note and have happy ending. So this is tragic comedy. Tragic hero is usually the protagonist that experience a form of tragedy. So the answer to this question is option B, comic relief. I believe you are enjoying this content. If yes, please hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and then tap on the bell notification to get informed as soon as we release the next videos. Question 7. In literature, a flat character can be described as one who, option A, is underdeveloped, option B, undergoes changes, option D, dies abruptly, option D, achieves greatness. The answer to this question is option A, is underdeveloped. Now, a flat character is a character that has little or no complex personalities. What this means is that you can just describe the character in one sentence, or you can use a word to describe this character. Okay, so he does not undergo any changes, and the character is usually underdeveloped by the author. So the answer to this question is option A, is underdeveloped. Question 8. Dramatist personnel in a play refers to option A, a list of characters, option B, order of appearance, option C, cast list, option D, protagonist and antagonist. Now the answer to this question is option A, a list of characters. Now the controversy in this question is between option A and option C. So a lot of people say, why is it not option C? Option C, cast list, also means a list of characters. So why is it not option C? Now there's a difference between dramatist personnel and cast list. Now dramatist personnel contains two columns. That is, the first column is the name of the character, and the second column is the role they play. For example, a character is Queen Ngozi, and the role she plays is the wife of Chiamaka. Okay, so that is dramatist personnel. So it contains the name of the character and the role they play. Okay, but then cast list is quite different. Although it contains the list of character, but in a different way. Now for cast list you have something like Queen Ngozi, but then in the other column you have maybe Patience or Zoko. So the name of the actor or the actress performing that particular role. So that's the difference between dramatist personnel and cast list. So the answer to this question is option A, a list of characters, since cast list is different from dramatist personnel. So option A, a list of character, is the best answer to this question. Question 9. The speech made at the end of a dramatic performance is generally called option A, a prologue, option B, an epilogue, option C, a dirge, option D, a monologue. Now the answer to this question is option B, an epilogue. So an epilogue is a speech or the writing made or written at the end of a text or literary text. So the answer to this question is option B, an epilogue, which is also called the concluding part. Now the prologue is the introductory part, which is the speech or the writing at the beginning of a literary work. When we talk about dirge is a mournful poem. Option D, a monologue. A monologue is a long speech by an actor or an actress. So the answer to this question is option B, an epilogue. Question 10. Which of the following is central to narrative fiction? Option A, verisimilitude. Option D, dialogue. Option C, objectivity. Option D, subjectivity. Okay, the answer to this question is subjectivity. Now let's break it down. When we talk about narrative fiction, it simply has to do with telling a story in a fictional way. So what is fiction? Fiction is any imaginary work of art. You imagine your characters, you imagine your events, you imagine the plot. Everything is basically imaginary. Okay, so why is it subjectivity? When something is subjective, that is, it can be influenced or it is influenced by your personal feelings, emotions, and all of that. So writing a fiction entails subjectivity, entails you putting in your feelings or how you feel about something or your emotions about something. So most of those things are really not real, but they are just in your head. So when something is objective, it is not influenced by personal feelings, it is not influenced by your emotion, it is just simply logical. So the answer to this question is option D, subjectivity. Question 11. He put himself in uniform, made one for his 5-year-old son, and marched with the infants from dawn till noon every market day on the main road, singing Kaiwawa Bituri. The persona in this excerpt above is portrayed as option A, a soldier, option B, abnormal, option C, energetic, option D, a policeman. Now the answer to this question is option B, abnormal. Now, why is it abnormal? Let's go back to the excerpt. So they are telling us that we should describe the personnel in this excerpt. Okay, the E in this excerpt, how can you portray him? Okay, so he said he put himself in a uniform. So we need to imagine this to be able to answer this question. Okay, so someone putting himself in a uniform and then makes one for a 5-year-old boy and then march with this boy from dawn till noon every market day. So the answer to this question is abnormality. So this person is not normal. For no reason, you wake up in the morning, you dress yourself in a uniform, and you take a 5-year-old boy, you put on the same uniform for him, and then you march from dawn till noon. The answer to this question is option B, abnormal. Question 12. He is a faithful liar. The line above is an example of option A, euphemism, option B, antithesis, option C, epigram, option D, oxymoron. The answer to this question is oxymoron. Do not forget that oxymoron is placing side by side two contradictory words or two opposite words. So faithful, liar are opposite words. So is a faithful liar is an example of option D, oxymoron. Question 13. Fight by the book of arithmetic. The figure of speech in the line above is option A, litotes, option B, innuendo, option C, hyperbole, option D, euphemism. The answer to this question is innuendo. Innuendo is an indirect hint on something. So when you're talking about something indirectly, I'm giving someone just a hint of that particular thing. Now this expression simply means mastery or expertise. So we can relate this. So option B, therefore, is the correct answer to this question. Option A, litotes, simply means ironic understatement. Hyperbole simply means exaggeration. And euphemism is describing an unpleasant situation using a pleasant expression. So the answer to this question is option B, innuendo. Do not forget that you can ask as many questions as possible and solutions will be provided to you within a short period of time. All you need to do is click on the link in the description below. It takes you to my school website. There you can ask as many questions as possible. Now moving on to question 14. And when you trudge on your honey path, Guarded like the soles of modern shoes, parts that even jiggers cannot conquer. Any part in the line above is a reference to option A, soul of a pauper, option B, soul of a soldier, option C, policeman, option D, madman. The answer to this question is soul of a pauper. Do not forget that soul is the underneath surface or the undersurface of a foot, and pauper is a poor person. Okay, now why is the answer option A? Now let's go back to the extract provided. And when you trod on your honey pad, trod means to walk slowly with heavy steps. So when you walk slowly with heavy steps on your honey pad, guarded like the soles of modern shoes. Now your honey pad is compared with the sole of a modern shoe, and we have a hint of what this honey pad is. Guarded. Now what does guarded mean? Guarded is to make a deep channel in land, to make a deep channel or to make a deep passage in land. Imagine potholes, the way potholes are. You know, you imagine a smooth land and then just a deep channel or a deep passage in land. That is what solid is. So in summary, the land is not smooth. Okay, so like the sole of modern shoes. Now, like the sole of modern shoes, you agree that there are some shoes now that the sole are not smooth. They have this zigzag kind of surface underneath. Parts that even jiggers cannot conquer. So this part, the third line tells us that jiggers cannot conquer. Now what are jiggers? Jiggers are machines, and they are peculiar to civil engineers or mechanics. So because of this description given, this description is quite a disgusting description. So we don't have something smooth, we don't have a smooth surface, it's a rough surface, a surface with passages or channels. So this, we can say that your honey pad is the foot of a poor person. Okay, a poor person that has been exposed to harsh condition, and that is why the foot is ugly. Okay, the foot is not presentable, it's not smooth. It has lines or it has passages as a result of the condition it has been exposed to. So the answer to this question is option A, soul of a pauper. Option A, therefore, is the correct answer to this question. Are there better steps, explanation, or solutions to any of those questions? If yes, feel free to use the comment section below, indicate the question as well as the solutions you would like to share. Question 15. The stanza above is an example of option A, couplet, option B, sestet, option C, quatrain, option D, sonnet. The answer to this question is quatrain. Now, from the example provided, we can see a 4-line stanza. Okay, so quatrain is a 4-line stanza or a 4-line poem. So it can be used for either. Okay, so this is a stanza, and so it is a 4-line stanza. Couplet is a 2-line stanza, a 2-line poem. Sestet is also a 6-line poem or a 6-line stanza. But then option D, sonnet, is a 14-line poem. So the answer to this question is option C, quatrain. Question 16. This thing you are doing is too heavy for you, he said. I went to school only a little, but I have killed many more years in this world than you have. G. Okara, the voice. It can be inferred from the passage above that the option A, listener is more experienced, option B, speaker is more experienced, option C, listener is wise, option D, speaker is a potter. The answer to this question is option B, speaker is more experienced. And we can spot this from the last statement. Okay, I have killed many more years in this world than you have. So the speaker here is dominant and he's talking to someone, but then he's telling him that he has killed many more years in the world than he has. This means that he is more experienced than the listener. So option B is the correct answer to this question. We've come to the end of this beautiful segment, and I believe you enjoyed every bit of it. Please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and then tap on the bell notification to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.